Today we are going to see about CSM 54 Cloud Computing. It's your elective subject. So in Unit 1, Cloud Computing Basics. The basic concepts of cloud computing is we are going to study in Unit 1. So what is cloud computing? Cloud is nothing but is a internet. Through internet we can able to access all kind of resources. In simple way, delivering of computing services over the internet. So what is the computing services? So it can be a hardware, software, database, platform, etc. So day-to-day example, we are using Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. So these softwares are not installed in our local computer. We are accessing from the cloud. So in real-time scenario, we can see one example. Instead of running a email program on your computer, you log on to your web email account remotely. So the software and storage for your account does not exist on your computer. It is on the service provider's computer cloud. Right? So have you understood about what is cloud computing? In simple way, we can tell delivering of cloud services, computing services over the internet. Delivery of computing services over the internet. Right. So the next we are going to see about what is the origin of cloud computing. So origin of cloud computing is nothing but how the cloud computing evolved from the day one till now. Right. So in 1960 they have provided the resources using global networks. So it starts from 1960. The next they have introduced the ARPANET. It was introduced by JCR Licklider in 1969. The ARPANET is nothing but Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. So it was used by the military in US for transferring the confidential information over the network. So the usage of network increases. So the large bandwidth also we needed. So it was also offered by the service providers. The first milestone for cloud computing is the Salesforce.com in 1999. So what is the Salesforce.com does? So it delivers the enterprise application through a simple website. So it helped the software companies to deliver the application over the cloud. Right? The next one is Amazon Web Services. So we all know what Amazon is doing now. So we are all purchasing so many products through Amazon. So the Amazon was evolved for the selling of books. So they have a bookstore through the internet. We can purchase books. So now it has developed a lot of things in lot of fields. They have selling so many products in the internet or through cloud. The Amazon Web Services in 2002 was the next major development in cloud computing, which provided a group of cloud-based services. The next one is also a Amazon product. So it is renting the computers to small scale industries to run their applications, own applications in the computers provided by the Amazon. They are renting the computers from the Amazon and installing their own application in the cloud. Right? So this was done by Elastic Computing Cloud, that is EC2, and it was launched in 2002 by Amazon. The next one is Web 2.0. The next milestone in cloud computing is Web 2.0 in 2009. So it is a website. So it is used to interact with each other in a social media. This is nothing but a social networking. Okay. The next one is a Google. We all know what Google does. We have so many applications. We are using Google Forms, Google Docs, Google Sheet, Google Drive. We are all saving our content in Google Drive. So it is not located in our local computer. Each and every time we are accessing our files using Drive from the cloud, right? Google Drive. So many applications we are using through Google Apps. So these are some of the top 10 cloud service providers: Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, Oracle, Salesforce.com, we have seen now, SAP, Rackspace Cloud, VMware. These are the top 10 cloud service providers. So now we are going to see on video from YouTube. Let's see the basic concepts of cloud computing.
Hello everyone, welcome to this session on Introduction to Cloud Computing. During this session, I'll teach you guys cloud end to end. So let's get started. So the first topic that we'll be discussing is what is cloud computing, and then move on to discuss the different cloud providers that you have in the market that everybody is using these days. After that, I'm going to tell you guys the different cloud models that companies follow in terms of its services, and then we're going to conclude this session. Alright guys, so I hope this agenda is clear to you. Let's go ahead and start off with the first topic, which is what is cloud computing.
So what is cloud computing exactly? Let's understand that as we move along. So guys, cloud computing is nothing but the use of remote servers on the internet to do a particular task, right? Now you would ask, like, why do we need to connect to remote computers when I can do everything on my personal computer? Now imagine if you have an application which requires a lot of processing, right? So what will you do? Will you buy a server which has a lot of processing power, put your application over there, and then see how your application is functioning? Or if I give you one more option, that you can rent a server from a cloud provider and basically do a RDP or an SSH into that, put your application over there and see the working of that application, how it runs. And I'll also tell you that the moment you are done with the server, you can just give it back to me and I'll charge you only for the time that you used it. On top of that, what if I tell you that it's as cheap as $0.0005 per hour? Isn't that amazing? And that is exactly what cloud computing is all about, guys. So cloud computing, for a beginner, it's nothing but the use of remote servers for a personal needs, right? And rather than using our own computers, or rather than buying servers of our own, I just want to rent a server on a cloud and I will pay them accordingly to the time that I have used, and the prices are as low as the figure that I just told you, right? So this is what cloud computing is, guys. Now you would wonder how it actually came into the picture, right? So let's go ahead and understand that. Alright guys, so let's take an example to understand this. Imagine you're a developer and you created your first app, which you think is going to be a hit, right? So how do you make this app available to the world, right? Or how do you make this app or website available to the world? So what do? You buy some servers and you put that application over there, right? And just putting your application on the servers would not do it. You'll have to connect it to the internet. And once you connect it to the internet, that is when people start to come on your application, come on your website and start to use it. Alright? So this is how typically work used to be done. Now I want to take your focus onto certain things that I just said when I was explaining you this example. First of all, I will have to buy these servers, right? And guys, servers are not cheap. They're very expensive, and buying a stack of servers will already cost you a lot of money. And you're not even sure whether your app will be a hit or not, right? You've just created your app and you want to try it out, and you put it on some servers, and because you want to make it production grade, obviously you'll have to buy a stack of servers, which is going to cost you a lot, right? Second thing is, you will have to configure everything manually. If these servers have to be connected to the internet, you will have to do the connections to this servers manually. You'll have to set up a static IP address. So you'll have to contact your ISP and say that I need a static IP address for my servers, so that people can just go to one particular address and they can visit it. After that, you again have to buy a domain. Let's say if you go to Intellipaat.com, you see the website, right? So what is happening? Intellipaat.com, in the backend, the domain is getting converted into an IP address, by a DNS server, and then that IP address is basically pointing to these servers, right? So you will have to buy a domain, you will have to point that domain to these servers, and that's how it used to work, right? And obviously if you have these servers, you'll have to hire a team also who's gonna manage these servers in case the number of users increase. You'll have to increase the number of servers, etc., etc. There are a lot of things that you'll have to do, and because of these things there were some problems, and because we wanted to overcome these problems, we use cloud computing. Right now, like I said, you were using this kind of an architecture before. Now let's see if we don't use this kind of an architecture and I just use cloud computing, what is going to be the difference? The difference will be that I created my application. Next thing is I'll go to AWS, I'll launch a stack of servers, I'll put my application over there. AWS automatically gives me a static IP address.
Yeah.
It has a service to basically give me a domain name as well. I would just configure my domain name to connect to this IP address and I'm done, right? It's so much ease that I don't have to hire a team to manage my servers, because AWS says whatever servers you want to launch, I'm gonna handle it for you. Not AWS, it's in fact any cloud provider for that matter. All the servers are managed by them, all the hardware upgradations are managed by them, everything is managed by the cloud provider. And that is why cloud computing model itself is such a big hit, right? So what are the advantages? The first thing is that there is little or no investment. So I don't have to buy a stack of servers to get my application up and ready. I can just rent them, right? And the cost is minimal for launching the stack of servers and basically getting them up and ready, right? I don't have to invest much. Even though I'm starting fresh, I have just launched my application. I don't need seed money for setting up an infrastructure which is going to be huge for the whole world to see, right? The whole world can access your application, but you don't have to worry about it because AWS is backing you up, right? So there is little or no investment. Second thing is more focus on app development. So you can focus more on app development than worrying about whether my infrastructure is fine or not, how is the traffic coming onto my app, is my infrastructure scalable enough that it can handle all the traffic which is coming onto it. Everything is managed by AWS once you configure it correctly, right? Third thing is it requires less workforce. So like I said, if you are buying your own servers, you obviously have to have a team which is going to manage your servers for you, right? Any hardware upgradations, any security patch that you have to do, all of that is done by a team, correct? But if you are launching your infrastructure or if you're creating your infrastructure on any cloud provider, the cloud provider's headache is to manage the servers. It's their headache to do the security patches. It's their headache to improve or upgrade the hardware once the processors become slow. So all of that is managed by your cloud provider, and all you will do is focus on your app, focus on your business goals, and then succeed towards the goal that you have, right? So this is an advantage that you get when you use cloud computing, and that is why most of the companies today, so I guess only the companies who started out earlier, that is before cloud computing came into the picture, are still working on their own servers, hosting their own applications. But companies who are very young, who have just started out, for example startups particularly, they prefer cloud computing, or they prefer their servers to be on the cloud, because obviously when you are starting off with a new company, you have very limited amount of money that you can invest in things, right? So it's always a good idea to invest on the things which are required, and rest, if it works in a certain way that they are not costing you much, it works that way, right? So for startups especially, cloud computing is a huge thing. It's a huge bonus, and that is why you can see a lot of new business ideas are coming in. A lot of new people are trying out their own app or their own websites to provide a particular service. Reason being, the major part of starting up a business was setting up the infrastructure. That is handled by cloud computing these days, right? And that is why you can see more and more young companies are coming up and they are trying out an app. If they fail, there was little investment involved in it, so it doesn't matter. And that is what is encouraging the entrepreneurs of this age. So guys, these are the advantages of cloud computing. Moving forward now, because cloud computing is so huge, there are a lot of products which are available on cloud these days, right? And you won't even know whether they exist in cloud or not. For example, Netflix is the biggest example that everyone is probably using every day in their life. The popular service Netflix, which is a movie streaming service, its entire infrastructure is on AWS. everything from A to Z, the scaling part, the content delivery network, the networking part, the security part, everything is handled by AWS. Now don't worry guys if you don't understand the jargons that I just used, like content delivery network, security, everything I'll explain in this video. For now, I just want to tell you guys that because of the advantages that cloud computing has to offer, and because of the kind of services that you get from cloud, companies such as Netflix, Airbnb, Amazon itself are relying on the infrastructure of the cloud providers so that they never go down. Now, how did it come to these companies' minds to switch to cloud? So I'll give you a very small example. Netflix suffered a huge blackout on the internet, I think in somewhere around 2008 or 2009, wherein all the services were down. Why? Because the more number of users came up to use the service, and that's when the service crashed, right? The whole application went down, and it caused a huge loss to the Netflix company itself, right? And that is when they decided, dude, I cannot manage all my servers. I can either do the app development or I can manage the servers. There's only one thing that I can do. So then Netflix started to migrate itself on the AWS infrastructure, which is highly scalable, which is highly available, right? And now seldom do you see that Netflix service is down. In my experience, I've never seen Netflix down since I've been using it from the past 2-3 years. I've never seen Netflix down, or I've never seen an error that the server is out or there's a problem with the infrastructure. I've never seen that, right? And that is because of the high availability that is provided by the cloud providers these days. Netflix is just one example. Other businesses that we are all aware of is the Amazon e-commerce website, right? The Amazon e-commerce website is also hosted on the AWS infrastructure, right? Now, a company, an e-commerce website whose bread and butter comes from a website, from being online, right? Imagine they are relying on the AWS infrastructure that all of you guys also have, access to, right? So imagine yourself, you're sharing the same infrastructure which the biggest e-commerce company in the world is using. So you can be rest assured that your application is in safe hands, right? Another great example of cloud computing is Google Drive. So Google Drive is a cloud product. The Google Documents, the Google Drive where you can upload all your files and folders, they're all hosted on the Google Cloud, right? And that is again a fantastic cloud product. Then we have Airbnb, which is actually a website which is hosted on AWS, and it's fully hosted on AWS for all its functionalities, scalabilities, and availability. Prime Video, which is video streaming service for Amazon, that is also hosted on AWS. And the funny thing is Netflix, which is its biggest competitor, is also hosted on the same infrastructure as Amazon Prime Video, right? Awesome.